Good morning and welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 27th of July. So we're starting off here as usual with the euro dollar, and well, where's it gone? Well, at the moment we saw a sell-off day yesterday, even though, well, much as what Draghi said and did and commented on was as expected. There wasn't expected to be anything new coming from that particular event, so pretty much where we are. I mean, as I said, there was a bit of a rally, but then sold off later in the session and carried on running through at the moment. So where from here? Well, in this choppy old climate that we're sitting in at the moment, I'll come back to this 4 hourly. You can see we're sort of switching backwards and forwards like a yo-yo, up and down. We could well be, well, there's daily pivots above that maybe with this double bottom that we've seen here, and I'm sure, yep, some divergence across those double bottom. We may see a move back towards that daily pivot, maybe even back to the monthly pivot there, or even beyond. So some key moving averages all lining up here to get in the way, of course, the 50 MA being the first of them. But we'll see how we run out this morning. It could, of course, carry on selling off. The dailies, well, it's in its chop range, so it's very difficult to really call too much from that. At some point, yes, I'm sure it will move, but how far away it will move from and whether it will move out of the range that I've highlighted on this chart is another matter. We seem to have a bit of a status quo. Now, we do have some key data for the US later on this afternoon. At 1:30 we'd have GDP figures coming out, and that may well give a bit more of a flavour, but we've already seen one figure coming in for one part of the United States forecast as being cut quite considerably, but we'll see how it pans out and whether the tariffs, etc., are starting to have any effect whatsoever. But this is the first of the GDP readings, so it's the most significant one there at 1:30. Right, moving on to the other markets then, and looking at the pound dollar. Pound sold off in and left itself a sort of a bearish looking candle as well. So we've got these bearish daily candles. The pound broke its trend through there yesterday, carried on selling off there. It's it does look weak. There doesn't seem to be any gold at the end of this rainbow at the moment for the Brexit lobbyists, but we'll see. We have got, again, daily pivots sitting there above. Maybe we're just about on this. Okay, so the 30-minute chart. If I switch this back to a 60, maybe better with what I want. Doesn't make too much difference. There we go. It just gives me a bit better view. We may get a few. We may end up with a 30-minute, funny enough, bullish harami, but we'll see. But it's not looking fantastic at the moment. There is a bit of divergence across here as well. Looking at both the RSI and MACD, we'll see how that pans out, but it certainly looked weak yesterday, broke the trend, probably, as I say, slightly worse. It's certainly clearer than the sort of movements we've been seeing in the euro, but that's not to say we won't see a half decent bounce today, although the momentum, etc., does look weak or strong to the downside, I should say. Okay, dollar yen. So, dollar yen, well, it's chopping along again. I won't be too surprised if it sits in a tighter range for a little while, as it well, rocks and rolls both ways here. It started pushing up yesterday again there, and heading towards where it ran into 21, slowed down on that. So there was an inverted butterfly sitting at the bottom here, and I'll just chuck the old pitchfork on there just to see where it might run to, and there is the potential. We were looking at a couple of things yesterday in the trading room there. The daily 50 is not that far away from being hit. In fact, it came pretty close to that at one stage. But it's in fact, that daily 50 looks like it's moved up fractionally, because it already left a distance below that yesterday. So we'll see. Anyway, for now, well, it's rolled over a little bit here, as we can see, but well, it's into its daily pivot. It may be, if we see some softening of these markets, we could see a break of the trend that would be running across these two highs across the right hand side here, and maybe a push up towards the L1. More in line with what we're seeing here, though, this price action, maybe a break of the trend at the bottom here. Let's just draw that on there. So if we get a sort of a break of this area, maybe this may be a bit more significant. We'll see. It's not been a clear run market this week, and well, we'll see how it comes through from that. But yeah, if it breaks that lower side, I'm really would be looking down towards the S1, maybe the bodies of yesterday's lows. Breaks the upside, well, yesterday's highs, and maybe a push up to that 500 or even the R1 at some point. It has had some decent ranges of late, relatively, so maybe it's got some legs in it, but those ranges aren't massive, I should say. Okay, Aussie dollar. So it's pretty much like what we're seeing with the euro, really, in terms of its consolidation pattern here continues, and at some point, we're going to see some decent move, one would hope, but it is just chopping a similar sort of picture there, and we've possibly got, there we are, daily pivot above as well. So same old we're seeing across these markets. There's the potential. We've had the sell-off yesterday. Now this came through all the markets, so it wasn't just specific to the week date or the surprises with the euro there. So there was just dollar strength coming through yesterday, so pretty much all the way through 1 o'clock onwards it sort of just carried on through there. As I said, it'll be interesting how the GDP data comes out later today for the US, because with all of these markets, it may set more of a tone for now, at least. Okay, so this is looking, you know, bullish towards that pivot reaction. Beyond the pivot, maybe into the 34-50 moving averages. It'll be interesting to see, but certainly from this picture, not given any clear direction, it's just given chop, so it's a case of range bound trading maybe. Canadian dollar. So well, we put a bullish harami sort of sitting there after sort of spending all this time. It's broken those prior lows there, as I said, for well over a week. Expected a bit more of a upward movement at one stage, but it's struggling. It's if anything now, we're obviously breaking the key trend that was sitting across here. I can pop that onto the more recent lows there across this sort of point here. It's a break of the trend, so is looking a tad on the bearish side. That's not to say it won't end up in a bit of a chop. Now 4 hourly is not really telling me too much one way or the other there. Okay, hourly, well, we've run into that hourly 50. Maybe it'll get a bit more reaction to that, and downside potential as well. So a lot of these markets, all bitty as they are, there's some correlation running through there. It looks like we may see some reversals this morning. I'm just looking at the pound at the same time as I'm looking at this. It's an inverted, that's the hammer, this is a shooting star, the inverted price action effectively. Maybe we'll see the bounce back and the chop that we've been seeing in a lot of these markets just roll through. As I say, key news today then, just GDP 1:30 this afternoon, and that's pretty much it. Have a great day. Bye for now.